part of town.
Little sneaky uppercuts again.
He caught him and he went down. Innocent looking punches, but they did the job for the second time.
You know that.
What's going on, people? Today we are talking Crawford versus Majimov card. We're talking the big boys. We're talking about Bakole versus Anderson. Let's get into today's video. So first off, let's start off by talking about Anderson versus Bakole. Now I knew this was gonna happen. I knew it. I didn't want it to happen because, at first anyway, because I didn't like how Martin Bakole kind of talks about sparring sessions and stuff, and it's just his camera. But I did say that I do believe that Anderson's a bit of a hype job. I don't really rate him too much. Like, he hasn't done anything for me to understand why he's got so much hype around him. And this fight proved it. Now, what in a positive for Anderson, what he did prove is that he has heart. Anderson was dropped in the first round by Bakole and then dropped, I believe, 3 or 4 more times in some subsequent rounds. And eventually the fight was called off after he was sent flying into the ropes. Yeah, like, let's start off talking about Anderson. Like, he has heart because he kept getting back up, and he wasn't just getting back up and just moving around. He was actually standing in the pocket quite a few times against what I think would be the better thing to do. Standing in the pocket, and he was trading with Bakole. Wouldn't be what I recommend, but it showed the heart. It showed the heart determination. He was having some success in there as well. One thing we'll say with Anderson is that I saw this in the Charles Martin fight. When he gets hit, he has very big reactions to being hit. Like, he'll be getting hit through the guard and you just see his head fly back through a guard, or getting hit and getting clocked and you see his head getting pinged all over the place. He doesn't really get hit and just take it in very, very well, which some heavyweights do. Bakole does very, very well. And he did that a lot with Anderson's shots. So even though Anderson decided to stand in the pocket and trade, Bakole's shots were seeming to have much more effect than Anderson's. And yes, it's because Bakole's heavy-handed, but it's something I've seen from Anderson before, which did worry me in this fight when he was getting pinged off by Charles Martin. Now, Anderson he had some good stuff in there. He did start to adjust his head movement a little bit better in kind of, I think, round 2 and 3. But it just wasn't enough for Bakole. He just didn't have enough answers for him. He tried to go to the body, he tried a lot of different things, but he didn't have enough answers. Now, one thing I'll say about Anderson, what I believe he should have done and should have been sticking to, is using his footwork. He had much better footwork than Bakole. He was much faster than Bakole. He should have been in and out. First round, Bakole was very much standing still in a spot. Second and third round, Bakole started to try and come for the kill and was actually trying to move forward. He should have been trying to pick him apart a little bit and move off the outside. And then when you're ready for that kill shot, then go for it. But like I said in my other video, I don't know if Anderson has that one-punch power, because the people that he's knocked out, they're not on the level. So I don't believe he would have won the fight anyway, but just maybe it might have delayed the beating a bit longer. But we'll move on to Bakole in this one. Bakole absolutely beat up Anderson, beat him down. Oh, it was good. It was a very, very good performance from Bakole. With Bakole, like, he's an interesting fighter. I did say it in my other video, and I noticed a lot of people didn't really pick up on this. He has very, very deceptively fast hands. I said this. And he also was very good at conserving his energy. So in that first round, he didn't use much energy. He kept himself very, very still and was waiting for Anderson. Waiting, and then when he tried to throw stuff, bam, 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 countering with fast shots. Didn't even have a rhythm or a movement. He just kept everything focused, completely conserving the energy at 300 pounds. Very, very clever and knows how to make it work to his advantage and not let it tire himself out too much. Now, when he knocked Anderson down in the first round, it was near the end of the round. I think that's when he knew, okay, I've got this guy. So second and third round, he was a lot more aggressive and did start to move his feet a bit more and press on the front foot. But again, he was still conserving energy. He didn't overthrow, didn't throw too many punches. There's quite a good defense. Now, what I'll say, like, also, he doesn't throw with his whole body all the time. He has very heavy hands, so he'll throw with a little bit of twist and rotation through his torso and shoulders, but won't necessarily need to move his hips as much for the majority of his punches. Say he's putting like 60, 70% into his shots, which is like 100% of a lot of people. And then when he feels like he's got you, bam, then he'll throw a big 100% shot. The uppercuts were working very, very well on Jared. Like, he did not see them coming. I think it's because he wasn't winding up. It was just coming from the arm, but he's heavy-handed, so it was having a very, very good effect. Bakole is a dangerous heavyweight, like a big lumbering force. It reminds me a lot of George Foreman in the way he fights and the way he throws his shots. So he's going to be a big problem in the heavyweight division. He's definitely made a name for himself and stepping up. Now, who is next for Anderson? Anderson definitely can come again. Like I said, even though he lost, and it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's exposed, but it's just that, you know, we kind of see that he isn't what people built him up to be. But he's early in his career and he's very young. Now, I question his desire for the game because he did say he wanted to retire very soon. So that's my only thing of not knowing if he can come back, only because I don't know if he wants to come back. But if he does want to come back, I feel like he's got good fights for him. I think a good fight for him now. Some people have put Ruiz's name in the mix. I wouldn't say Ruiz. I think a good fight for him would possibly be, I don't know, maybe a Caballero. I think that's another little kind of, that will be an exposure to know, okay, are you ready for this or not? But Caballero could be onto bigger and better things. But maybe actually not even that. Maybe there's a bit more of a lower level, like a building fight for Anderson, so he can kind of build himself back up again. But he does have a lot to learn. As I could see, there's a lot of green around his boxing. And Bakole exposed that way too early for Anderson to fight him. So it's a shame. And what's next for Bakole? I think Bakole versus Zhang is the fight to make. Do not waste any time. Bakole versus Zhang, that is the fight to make, man. Like, they're very, very similar. Bakole's got a better engine than Zhang, but in terms of how they throw their punches, not massive rotation through them, deceptively fast hands, very heavy-handed. It could be a stalemate, that's the only worry, but I don't think Bakole would let it be. Now, they're both kind of counter punchers as well, but Bakole, what we saw in second and third and fourth round, like, he's more willing to press the action if he needs to than Zhang would be. I think that's a very, very good fight. Now, some people have said, Bakole versus the winner of AJ Dubois. I'm like, slow down. And not because I don't think he's ready, because I do think he is, but like, you got to look at his record. Like, he hasn't, and I know he hasn't had the opportunities to, but it's a little bit like you've won one very good fight, push him in there and jump to the top of the queue. I don't know about that. I don't know if it's a good fight to make. I think a good fight would be him versus Zhang. Him versus Dubois, AJ winner. I don't know about that just yet. I feel like there's better fights to make out there. Like, if AJ wins that fight, it has to be Fury or Usyk. I think that's just a really, maybe not Usyk, because it's just, we know it's going to happen. We know it's happened, but maybe not. But I think if AJ beats Dubois quite convincingly and ends in early, like I think he will, then I think that Bakole chat will go out the window. If AJ struggles with Dubois, then I think the Bakole chat will be there. If Dubois wins, I think the Bakole chat will be there. But I think Zhang is the fight to make. What do you think of the fights? What did you think of Bakole? Who is next for Bakole? Who is next for Jared Anderson? There was some talk of Anderson versus Miller. I don't think that's there anymore. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe. See you soon. Peace.